Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've last posted, so this is a live update of what's been going on in the background so far. So I'm on the drive at the minute with the Vanzilla, as I like to call it, and I welcome you back to another episode on Auto Alex, the Mercedes guy, with some new updates. So the van has passed an MOT. Yes, get in there. So we sorted that one. The welding I've done, it's been okay-ish. There's been some developments, so I have acquired a new client onto the super yachts, and we are working with a big yacht company at the minute, so I'm providing my services, my time and hard sweat and efforts in doing some work that way, and it's taking quite a bit of my time, so the YouTube channel fell a bit on the background. Now I've been talking for a long time now for about the second YouTube channel, and that's been done, but no videos have been posted so far. So the next video I'm gonna post is gonna be on that channel, and I'm gonna put some links on here for those of you who want to see any work that I normally do about carbon fiber, composites and all that sort of stuff. That'll be the place to go. Now you might wonder why I'm not doing that on here. Well, this channel was built with the purposes of doing stuff on the cheap, so on a drive sort of thing, yeah, on a driveway, and with DIY tools and skills. Now anyone that has DIY skills can do the sort of stuff that I've done, obviously a bit of welding knowledge and all that, but yeah, in regards to the van, she had a few missed spots on the welding. They were connecting bits on the floor. One of them was next to the rear wheel arch, and that needed a bit further assistance. It was only about 100 millimeters that it needed to be connected to the van floor, so they didn't like that at the MOT. Another bit was somewhere near the front, I believe, where the jack is supposed to lift the van. That wasn't very well done. That was, you know, I was still remembering how to weld. It's been a long time. I was 17 years old when I first learned how to weld, and that wasn't great. That was just a bit of spot welding and a bit of electrode welding, really. So no wire welding, no MIG, nothing like that. So that was a big step up for me, to be honest. Especially that I am self-taught in a sort of way. So I didn't went to a welding school. I don't have a welding certificate, any of that, right? So none of that. I do my apprenticeship, if you like, my professional school. It was in working with metal sheets, so bending metal sheets, English wheel and all that. So and it's been a long time ago. If you don't practice it, you don't develop the skills further. So it was very basic what I've learned, really. And it's kind of takes his toll, takes his time for it to come back and to remember. But anyways, regardless, the van is back on the road. There's a few advisories on the van. One of them, I think, it was on the wheels. So the wheels have a little bit of a stance, so they come out of the bodywork. I'd say about 1.5 inches. So you see, they didn't like that very much. It's a bit too much tuning for them probably, but I think it looks pretty cool like this. And especially when I look into my my mirror, my side mirrors, I can see the tires. So it's so handy, especially when you're next to curves and you want to park very close and stuff like that. I love it. The front one as well, let's change to the rear. There you go. The front one as well, it's has a bit of you know, offset. In regards to the interiors, so that's my spare wheel, an old Stilly. Bear in mind, when I bought this van, that's how all the wheels were, they were Stillies. You can see there, that's still from a bit of welding. So the interior needs doing now. That's going to be the bulk of the work now on the interior. We've done the floor already. So the floor, I mean, I'm not a carpenter, but I'd say it's not too bad. There's a bit missing here, so I'm gonna have to put that in, that little bit missing in there. And once I put that little bit missing in there, I'd say pretty much I've got a couple of bits there, but they look all right. I mean, I could continue this bit here to go to the seat base, but it's not important. So that's all set up. If you look back on the videos from last year, the seats were against the front seats here, so they are backwards, and people that they were in the van, they were feeling a bit sick while I was driving it, because they were being sat backwards towards the driving position, so that wasn't very helpful. Now, in regards to the interior, this headliner, a bit of a revamp, a bit of a refurb, tatty. I mean, these are coming off. I don't even know why they were put on there, because it wouldn't need it. I wouldn't had this extra bit there, but probably that's how it was done. I couldn't say. I don't even know if there's a hole there or something. Well, no, there's no hole. So you see, I don't know, they just done that way. And obviously these spotlights, they look like something from, you know, from the, I don't know, from the 90s or whatever. I don't think anyone uses this unless you use them in your fake ceiling, in your plaster ceiling, you know, to have some spotlights over a bar or something. Not in a van. I don't think they look any good. Obviously we'll need a couple of speakers on the sides there, on the rear. We've got a nice idea here to have a small cabinet fitting in there with a bigger speaker, a couple of drawers maybe under the seat to store stuff, and quite a few other things. But yeah, this will take time. Now, obviously, give me some ideas in regards to maybe the ceiling color. Put it down in the comments, and the cardboard on the doors, it needs removing. Talking on that, I'm going to show you. That's why probably they didn't like it on the MOT. When you slide the door back, if you slide it all the way, it just about touches the tire. Isn't that funny? So that's not ideal either. If you're driving on the rain and you have obviously a wet tire, wet wheels, that will transfer onto the door. So that will be something I have to look at. So either maybe get different wheels, or maybe take a door card that it's gonna be different, slightly goes in. Other than that, I've done a little update on the steering wheel here. So a bit of a nice new steering wheel cover. It's I mean, it's pretty good. Has a nice feel to it, and to be honest, it costed me a £5. So £5 from China. Took about a month to arrive, but as usual, I'm not stressing about time. I have time to do these things, and whenever they come, and that's it. And then got a bit of yeah, it's not real carbon fiber, but yeah, I think it gives a look. I wanted to see what sort of look it will give these things if I would do real carbon fiber, but that would be, I think, a bit of you know, kind of a bit of a hard work for what this van is and it's worth. I mean, let's remember that it's 18 years old and it's had a bit of its time. Let's give it a key. So right, I've just been driving it so the missus could take her car out of the drive. Right, there you go. First key, first start, perfect. I mean, what more can you ask from a yeah, it's telling me that it's 70 something 7,100 miles that it needs an oil change. Well, I actually haven't done 7,000 because it's been sat for the nearly past whole year on the drive. So no, that's not correct, but it's due to the number of days, I believe, that the oil hasn't been changed. So that will need me doing. And obviously it's got 126,110 miles, so not too bad, not too bad. This center console probably will get the same little cheap plastic wrap just to give it a better, nicer look. Get rid of all these little screws around here, they don't look great. The stereo is a Pioneer, detachable. No CD, but it's got Bluetooth, which is really handy for my GPS and listening music from my phone. The only two speakers working at the minute, and that they actually exist in the van, they're them two over there, which is not great, but yeah, that's the job. So let's have a this is how 2.2 litre diesel van, 18 years old, sounds and looks like after a little bit of work. The important thing is that all the welding is done and all the rust is gone. She is roadworthy again. Now, would I do this again? Probably not. Learning what I've learned so far, it took me a long time to get here, a lot of weekends. The weather in UK is not very forgiving, so especially in the winter, a lot of wind and rain. So would I do this again? Probably not, knowing what I know now and on a driveway. So yeah, it's been a good learning curve, a learning lesson, but no, I wouldn't do it again. I'd probably scrap it, or I'd probably sell it to someone who has a garage and has or has the time to do it. Now, in regards to costs, the board, so the wood on the floor is proper wood boards. They moisture treated, So if you come with your, wet wellies from outside and go on the board, it's not going to start curving, and because of the wetness and all that. So that is good. That was about, I think, 33 quid or something for the pack. I used 3.5 packs, so about 100 something quid. For the floor, for the welding, a MIG welder on Amazon costed me around 100 quid as well, 120 quid maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember. It's been a while back. And the outer seals were 76 quid from eBay, and also, but I think I will do a bit of backlogging and see all these purchases and probably put the links down below. So if any of you have any similar work to do, then it'll make your life a bit easier. And the metal for the inside, so the inner seal under the van and the floor with the rear arch corners and all that, that was I believe about 50 quid worth of metal. Now what I've done different, I've used 1.5 millimeter mild steel metal sheets, and I made sure it was galvanized steel, so it won't rust as fast or squeak. And also I made sure I primed it and painted before I put the under seal. That is funny about the under seal. On the MOT they said they put it down as an advisory that was heavily under sealed. They didn't like that. I wonder why they did that, but it doesn't bother me whatsoever. So the rear shocks were about 60 quid from eBay, so that was another cheap purchase. Front and rear discs plus pads, they were about, I believe, 100 quid for the front, and about another 80 or 90 quid for the rear. So all in all, to bring back to life this van, probably it costed me, let's say, around 500 quid. Now here's the kicker. It's not about how much money I spent, but how much time I've invested in it, because all the fabricating, it took a long time. So all the cutting, all the shaping to have the right corners under the van, especially the rear quarters on the rear wheel arches and all that, it took a lot of time. If you're gonna have a quick look on the back videos, you'll see there were holes that I could literally fit my head through it and look inside the van on the rear corners, on the rear wheel arches. So that was the bulk, the time. Now let's suppose I know minimum wage in UK it's about 9 quid an hour, and up on my calculation so far, on the weekends I spent, I have somewhere around 200 hours maybe, or even more, on labor. So just my own hard work. If you put that on £9 an hour, it's quite a bit of money. It's quite a bit of money. And believe you me, when I say working and contracting, I would never work for £9 an hour unless I'd had literally no other solution. I'd be desperate. But yeah, in the carbon fiber industry with the Formula One, and even if I'm not working on Formula One because that's a seasonal thing, about 3-4 months tops a year, it's let's say doing automotive or airspace or even boat work. At the minute, working as a contractor for the boating industry, it's quite rewarding, I must say. I mean, some companies, they're paying 22 pounds an hour. Yes, you have expenses, you work under a limited company, etc, but at the end of the day, you're ending up in your pocket with a bit more than £10 an hour. And obviously at the end of the year you can offset quite a few expenses. Now also what you have to remember is this is a company van, so this is not my personal van, and all the expenses, they went onto the company. So that's another take and how to do it and to make your life easier. So it doesn't actually come from your own pocket literally as such, so it comes off from the company, and it alleviates a bit of tax at the end of the year for yourself. Obviously when I will sell the van and pass it on at some point, sooner or later, I'm still debating that subject, because let's face it, it is quite an old van, and I could easily buy a newer one, but that would mean either myself or the company have to take on a credit, on a loan, to get a new van. So we're still debating on that one. We will have to see. But the main things are, I had this week a very long journey up to Peterborough, and I've done about 400 miles, and she behaved perfectly. So she drove as she should, braking as it should, changing gears as it should. So for 126,000 miles that these vans got on, it does perform quite well, and I have to say I am impressed, because it's been sat on wind and rain for nearly a year, and even when I took it to the garage, so they do the final brake, because the brakes had a bit of it's got a loading weight valve on the rear brake. So basically when the van is loaded with extra weight, it creates pressure on that valve and it applies extra pressure on the brakes. So that was a bit seized up, that needed a bit of attention. So obviously with the new contract and all that, I let someone else, I let a garage to do, and the 2 bits of welding they've done. They passed the MOT, so I'm happy with that. All's been well so far. Now, what else can I say? If you like the videos, click subscribe, click the notification button, click the bell so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you probably on the sister channel or brother channel, however, with the carbon composites builds, and we'll see some more of my daily struggles as a composite technician contractor. And we'll talk more about the contracting life, and maybe if you guys interested on how to turn your hobby into a business and how to make a living or make a profit out of it and so on. But yeah, give me a thumbs up, and or if you don't like it or whatever you don't dislike, put it down on the comments. Either way, I'm happy to reply to all your comments as usual, and we'll take it from there. Cheers, thanks for watching, see you next time, cheerio.